Yo, yo, yo.
Hey. Oh, hello.
Well, how's it going, Nolan? How's it going?
Okay. It's okay.
Here we are for
back.
yet another episode of the Fantasy Lounge.
Look at us being consistent this year.
Yeah. We're doing 17 episodes. No, we don't get bye weeks. We're doing 18 episodes.
That's right.
Okay. Plus preseason, plus postseason. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe we'll do more. We'll see.
Yeah. So, well, for those of you out there that don't know, we're the Fantasy Lounge. I'm Zach. This is Nolan.
Hello.
And this is fantasy football content by fans for fans. So we do this for free.
That's right.
Do this just to put stuff out there for people who maybe don't want to listen to those professionals.
That's right.
And look what
Stats?
level.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Matthew Berry, who? Okay. So. Well, look, this week we're gonna have it's trade week, Nolan.
That's right.
It's trade week. We're gonna do some who we think you should be buying, going out there and trading for. We're gonna talk about who you should be selling. You know, who's maybe having a good start to the season, but we don't think that will finish, or for whatever reason you think you should trade them. A little bit of a hold status, maybe those people that you keep the faith a little longer.
Not sure about yet. That's right.
Yeah. And then next week, if you would believe it, Nolan, next week's episode is already the quarter mark of the season.
Oof, gosh, it's moving too quick.
Yeah, it is. But before we do that, I feel like I have to apologize to the Saints. Okay,
You jinxed them.
I went too hard last week.
That's right.
I went too hard, and they dropped their home opener in an ugly game. It wasn't. It was horrible.
It's all right. You flew too close to the sun.
Yeah, call me Icarus, aka, that's me.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, let's jump right in there, Nolan. So, let's do buys first. Let's talk about who we're trading for, and then we're going to talk about who we're abandoning. Okay.
That's right.
You want to kick us off on that one?
Yeah, that's fine. So my first one probably isn't a buy or a trade in your redraft leagues. My first one we've got up is Emmanuel Wilson, who looked excellent this week, giving him more and more touches every week. Lloyd looks like he's got Kendre Miller syndrome.
Yeah.
Forever hurt, can never get on the field, and A.J. Dillon's out for the year. So looks like they're getting more and more comfortable with him, and he's getting some touches. And if anything happens to Josh Jacobs, he may be one of the best handcuffs you can have in this league. Because guaranteed Josh Jacobs is going to miss a couple games.
Yeah, and they fixed game script this past week where Josh Jacobs didn't have like a million carries, and immediately Emmanuel Wilson's value went up.
Right.
Like it's that cat looks like he's good at football, and he was an afterthought.
Yes, he was.
Like everybody was all Marshawn Lloyd this, Josh Jacobs that, and look out, guys, Emmanuel Wilson.
Shout out. Yeah. I feel like he's an easy one to get into because he's just going to sit on your bench and wait for the guaranteed 4 weeks a year Josh Jacobs doesn't play. And when he gets in, look at him go.
Yep. I like that one. You're going to see a theme for Nolan and I for these first couple of buys because my first two are both currently backup running backs. Now, they're not third string running backs technically. So I'm not maybe as deep a dive, okay? But I'll start out with I'm gonna start out with Bucky Irving. So if y'all have been watching Tampa Bay football, and for 2 weeks that was a good watch. Last week not so much. There are two running backs, and one looks like he's 30, even though he's like 24, and one looks like Devon A-Chain. Okay,
he might not even be 24.
Yeah, he looks explosive. And that the explosive one's Bucky Irving. He's not the world's biggest back. I think he's under 6 feet. Let's see.
He's 5'10", 195.
Yeah, he's like a little bitty guy, but every time he touches the ball, he looks explosive with it. And then you have Todd Bowles, the head coach of the Buccaneers this week, who said, quote, that Bucky Irving has earned additional snaps moving forward this season because every time he touches this ball, it's dynamic. So when you look at his sleeper stats, like his snap percentage is still in the red. It's 30%, around 30%. The total attempts are still in the red. Okay, 9 week 1, 7 week 2, 9 week 3. But then you look at the yards and the yards per carry, and they're green.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't had a touchdown yet. Like he just posted his first double-digit week. He still hasn't had touchdowns. And then he's had 6 targets in the passing game, and he's caught all but one of those. And so they're starting to trust him more. Rachaad White's dealing with a little bit of a knee injury, not enough to keep him out, but they're running like these 2-back sets. And Baker's, I think, starting to like shift over to not Rachaad White, but rather Rachaad White's potential future replacement, which is Irving. So I think this is somebody, he's RB35. He's still only rostered in 59% of leagues on Sleeper, started in 8% of those. So this is still a guy that you should be able to go get cheaply, I think. And just know that like in the later parts of the season, I think he's going to really come on strong. Rachaad White, not to jump too far ahead of it because he's in my sell list, but I didn't prepare a sell segment. He's had a really slow start to the year, which he also had last year before he finished RB4. So there's a chance, but he didn't have Bucky Irving on the roster. So I think what we're seeing is normal Rachaad White, and that Bucky Irving is in line to get some of that, later season magic. So for me, I'm looking at waivers. I'm looking at teams where they're just benching Bucky Irving. And I'm probably going out there and trying to get him pretty cheap.
Yeah, you probably get him pretty damn cheap too.
I think so.
Yep. High tier handcuffs. That's what we love here.
Yeah.
Praying for injuries.
You don't draft them.
That's
find
right.
them.
That's right. Okay. After week 1 or 2, you'll see who actually came forth. Because for those of you who play Dynasty, Sean Tucker was a darling last year, and he is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Also, Izzy Abanikanda, speaking of handcuffs that never were, he's already been taken over by Braylon Allen, so he's virtually relevant on that team too.
Don't get ahead of my second one.
Whoa, my bad. Well, my number 2 is going to be Amari Cooper.
Hey,
big homer pick here. Love him. Yep. They finally remembered who he was on this team.
It's one of the only Browns we care about.
That's right. So he's been consistently getting great targets every week. He got 9 week 1, 8 week 2. They were just bad throws because he has bad quarterback.
No.
But
he's got a bad person of a quarterback. That's sure.
Right. That's right. But he finally got some balls that were catchable this week. 2 touchdowns, 7 receptions, 86 yards. Great week. Relevant again. Also, as Deshaun Watson, there are 2 options here. He remembers how to play football, which is not likely. The more likelier option is he gets benched for Mr. Crab Legs himself, Jameis Winston. And if he gets out there, Amari Cooper will feast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's just going to be chunking it.
That's right. He's going to chuck the ball. Amari Cooper, excellent deep receiver.
I've got a potential surprise sell for you in the next column. I heard it on another show where the guy was just kind of making a case, and I'm with him. I'm going to make a case on our show and see what you think about it.
All right, we'll see in a minute.
But it's the difference between a quarterback who's really, really good at football and wins, and a quarterback who's really, really good at fantasy football and wins for your team.
I know what we're going to talk about then.
Yeah.
Also, it's ironic that I put Amari Cooper in my buy column because I just sold him in one of my leagues.
For different reasons. Totally
different reasons. Dynasty reasons.
Yeah, Dynasty.
I just thought it was ironic we're doing this show. As we were going live, the notification came through that he sold.
Yep. Most of these are redraft trades.
Right. This is redraft.
So, no, I like Amari Cooper. For me, and Nolan jumped into it just a little bit, my second one's going to be Braylon Allen. So, I know what you're thinking. Why would you try to go get the backup to the current RB5, the number 12 overall player in fantasy football, which is Breece Hall, of course. And it's because even though Breece Hall is those things, Braylon Allen is still the 28th RB.
Yep.
Braylon Allen is probably going to be the reason why Breece Hall doesn't finish RB1. Okay. Because he's been so good when given opportunities that they're not going to exclude him from the game plan. Like there's not going to be game script necessarily in which Braylon Allen isn't out there. The other thing that we see with, I think, is the difference between my first guy and my second guy, Berkey Irving versus Braylon Allen, is Braylon Allen's built for feature back stuff.
Big old
if
boy.
Breece Hall goes down with an injury, this might be one of the most talented handcuff running backs you'll run into. Mm-hmm. He is 6'1", 235.
Is that Derrick Henry?
Maybe. It might be his cousin.
It might be.
Okay. He's gigantic.
Yep.
He's huge. He's built for it. Aaron Rodgers trusts him. I mean, look at what he did. He only had 9.8 points. So we'll say 10 points. We'll round up to 10 points last week. Didn't it feel like he was going to have 20?
It did. He looks good in the open field.
Yeah, he's getting pass to. He's getting goal line looks. If Breece Hall if Breece Hall runs it to the 5-yard line, they're going to let Braylon Allen jump in there and take that.
Mm-hmm.
And so really, I put Berkey Irving first on my list. But out of the two, I'm actually probably trying to get Braylon Allen from people, especially in Dynasty. Anyways, redraft. But I just think, going down the stretch, they're going to play some tough defenses. Like the next defense they have is Denver. That's a tough D.
Yep.
Minnesota's
an excellent defense too.
Yeah, they're going to get Minnesota later this year. They're going to get Pittsburgh later this year. So they're going to play some tough defenses. And there's a chance Breece Hall either has a tough night or gets hurt. And so Braylon Allen, man, super high level backup. He's almost entering flex territory depending on the matchup. I mean, he really is.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but
I'm telling you. Hey, man, you don't know. 12-team league.
Brave.
In our work league, it's a 14-team league. You could play him.
Yeah, you might need him there.
Yeah.
All right. I feel you. Well, my next one, I may have actually stole from you. We didn't look at each other's lists. But if any of you have watched this, where did my thingy go? For any amount of time, one of Zach's favorite players is Deontay Johnson.
Shout out DJ.
What up? Return of the Red Rocket.
Dude, so
God,
good.
It's weird. The chain. He was should also probably be a buy. Andy Dalton, first quarterback this year to throw for 3 touchdowns and 300 yards in one game.
I saw
wild that just happened for the first time.
It's a bad passing year.
Yep.
It's a bad passing year. But that's why we're talking about running back so much.
That's right. And he's going to be the top target. He's going to by far get the most looks. Thean got hurt. He's probably missing this next week. Deontay Johnson to the moon.
Deontay Johnson to the moon. Brother had 14 targets.
That's right.
8 receptions and 122 yards, 15 yards per catch, and a tutty. Okay.
It's crazy what happens when you have a quarterback that can see over their line to throw the ball.
It might look. I don't have game log in front of me. Let me see if he's. It's probably his best. No, that might have been his best game ever. Nope.
Maybe.
Back in 21, he had a 31-point game against Baltimore. That's back when he was Pittsburgh. You got to step up against Baltimore.
True. Well, I mean, that's also the thing about it. That team was kind of built to be good. They have probably one of the best O-lines in the league. Yeah. They allowed the fewest rushes from 3 weeks in the league. They're number 1 in fewest QB rushes. So they're kind of built to be good.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough. So they traded the farm to get Bryce Young, but it seems like they might still be all right now that they have a competent quarterback at the helm.
Yeah, they have good enough skill positions to win games. This shouldn't be a team that gets blown out every week and looks like they don't know how to play professional football.
That's right.
And insert a 37-year-old but career competent quarterback, and it looks dangerous all of a sudden.
Is he 37? Jesus, I didn't realize.
Yeah, hey bro, we're old.
That's crazy. I did not realize he was that old.
Not a fake stat. Let's see. He is. He's 36, turning 37.
Can't believe you gave him an extra year.
Oh, dude, Braylon Allen is an inch shorter and 15 pounds heavier than Andy Dalton. Unit.
Just a massive human.
Love the Deontay Johnson one. In fact, really, and I don't want to go off script too much on that. You could probably look Carolina Panthers players for the next couple of weeks. It's probably, yeah.
Jonathan Brooks will be coming back soon too, hopefully.
Yeah, they're gonna work him in, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got it. They can't rush the guy. He was
Oh,
still
against
just a rookie.
Cincinnati. Yeah, they got Cincy next, and then after that, they've got a Chicago matchup, which we know this year has been
Gross.
pretty tough. And then Atlanta after that. So yeah, look, Look, if you got Panthers players, at least this next week, start them. Yeah. All right, my last bye. We'll probably stick to 3 per on that. We're
but my favorite one's my 4th one.
Okay, well then skip to your 4th one. But for me next, here we go, Nolan. This is the one I thought you would think is fun. I'm going to talk to you about wide receiver 54. Okay, who has a rookie quarterback throwing to him. I was going to give you a division and a conference, but I know your weak spot.
That won't help me.
I'm not going to do it to you on camera. Okay. I think if you are in a position to go find him, fortunately, I'm biased and I drafted him. You should go get Cortland Sutton. Okay.
Yep.
Heat up, man. This dude's wide receiver 54, which is interesting because he's tied for the 8th most targets so far this season.
There you go.
He has more targets this year, Nolan, than not together, but individually, than some well-known receivers you might know. He has more targets than CD, more targets than Justin Jefferson, and more targets than Jamar Chase. You're waiting for him to just catch one and score. And then that all of a sudden wide receiver 54 is wide receiver 40. And then next week he catches another one and wide receiver 40 is wide receiver 35. Like, it won't take much for him to start climbing the ranks when he's got the 8th most target in the league. Bo Nix is getting better. It's happening. It's micros, right? Like, but what we saw last week was he didn't make like those boneheaded, we'll call it the Will Levis mistakes.
Oh,
yeah, shout out. We'll call it the Will Levis mistakes. And so I'm going through the stats and I'm looking at that, and he was one of those names that stuck out with a ton of targets, but the scores aren't quite there just yet. And it's not a talent for him. Like, he's not dropping a ton of them. It's a rookie quarterback working through like growing. But I just, that's going to be a guy, I think, later on the season, if Bo Nix keeps getting better, that's going to start having weeks where you go, like, he started the week with the year 5, 6, 8, and then he finishes the week 13, 17, 20, and then helps you get to the playoffs and then win this thing. So, yeah, I'm going wide receiver 54, Cortland Sutton. Snap him up. It would be cheap. I think it should cost you very little to go get him from other teams.
Yeah, I believe it. I never hear his name thrown around, so I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Well, my next one, big homer pick for all of you that know me. Andre Yasovas. Been screaming it from the rooftops.
Let's go Princeton.
Yeah, that's right. Since I saw him in the combine last year, I have been obsessed with this guy.
Yeah.
So in his last 6 games he's played, he has only been less than 70% snap share one time. In his last 6 games he's played, the end of last year and the beginning of this year, in 6 games he has 5 touchdowns. So that feels like a lot. That feels like a high touchdown rate. That's right. And I'm pretty sure he's averaging something like 6 point something targets a game. Excellent. He's easily filled the Tyler Boyd role in this offense. He plays a lot from the slot, but he's a big guy in the slot, so he's going to catch all those balls. Dude's 6'3", 210. He's catching everything they throw at him. He's an easy guy to throw to in the end zone too, because they're going to be spying on Jamar Chase and T now that he's back. And it's leaving a huge body to throw to in the end zone. That's why he's getting so many scores.
I like that. That's a good one, dude.
Yeah.
T. Higgins is still. It's kind of like Antonio Pierce said. I think T. Higgins is struggling between making business decisions and football decisions.
That's a good way to put it.
Like we've talked about these guys that get in contract years or tag years, free agent tags, and then they start going like, why would I play through an injury? Like I said, Rachaad White has a knee thing that's bothering him, but he's still 70% snap shares. T. Higgins isn't going to be that guy. He's trying to get his money healthy, and so Jamar Chase still fussing around and doing those kinds of things. He finally had his Jamar Chase week. But until these guys get right, it's plenty of work. The ground game sucks, so why not? Why not go get Yosivas?
I mean, they also in this team they do throw to the slot a lot too. I mean, just look at Tyler Boyd last year too.
Yeah.
He's not gonna go out and win you a bunch of weeks, but he is consistent enough to get into a flex spot.
Hey, and that's what you're just rounding out your roster,
That's
right?
right.
Like, hey, in this case, we think you feel pretty good about your starting quarterback, hopefully.
And if
We
anything
think-
does happen to Jamar again, or if T decides he wants to throw a fit or something happens to him again, he's just going to shoot up higher. And they're in an offense that's going to throw the ball a shit ton.
yeah, because again, they're going to be behind.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a run game to depend on, and Joe Burrow doesn't have a ton of time.
Yep.
So he's going to be chucking it.
Yep. He's got like a 20% target share too. Like it's nothing to scoff at.
Yeah. Let's go. I like that. All right. So look, that's our buys. There's tons of players out there. And we're going to get, like, as we go through the rest of this, our sells and our holds, you're going to think some of those guys could be buys just depending on, like, it's fantasy's perspective based. That's the cool thing. Like, most of the players we're talking about have favorable stats. Mm-hmm. And so, like several of my sell options we're going to go through are doing well. But that doesn't mean that they're going to keep doing well. So just look into that. All right, so we're jumping into sell. These are people we think you should get rid of, whether it's because we think you could get a lot for them or because current production can't be sustained. Maybe it's time. Coming up to the quarter part of the season.
You just realize they're bad and you want them off your team.
Well, that could be true.
That's true for my one.
I'm gonna start pretty strongly here. My first sell is a guy who, for the first time since 2020, is ranked above 56, really, but above 23. So I'm talking about J.K. Dobbins for the LA Chargers. So he's currently running back 12, player 28 overall. But this is a guy who played one game last year, 8 games the year before, and no games in 21. And he has had, 10 carries the first week, 17 carries the second week, 15 carries the third week. And he's had point regression 3 weeks in a row now. 22.9, 20.1, and 8.4. Now, Pittsburgh's a very good defense, and Herbert went down. And whatever, Joe Alt went down.
And then Rashawn Slater did too. So they lost their 2 best linemen, let's be real.
That's right.
And maybe their quarterback too.
That's right. They got KC next. They're probably going to get blown out. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, it's in LA, but they're probably going to get blown out. Then they've got their bye week, which is good. Hopefully some of these guys can get healthy. And then right after that, they got Denver. That's not a good matchup. They have to play Denver 2 times still. And so I think this is as good a time to sell J.K. Dobbins high and still get good value for him relative to where you, let's be honest, drafted him in like the 10th or 11th, probably, maybe later. Mm-hmm. Get rid of him. I don't think he can sustain it. He's been awesome, but he looks slow. Yeah. He looks like he's had a bunch of ACL tears, Yeah,
he finally slowed down this game. He had less than 3 yards per carry this last game.
Yeah.
So what happens when your line dies?
Yeah, I don't want to take it from him. He's been really good, but I don't think it's sustainable. He's not going to finish. He's a prime example of someone who starts the first half of the season good, finishes the first half of the season in the 30s.
Yep.
Go dish him. Go fill out your quarterback that you don't like or your wide receivers that you don't like. Get replacements. Get rid of JK.
Hey, I can get behind that.
Okay.
On the flip side, mine is one that you probably drafted a little higher, but has played fucking awful, and I hate him, and I hate him, and I hate the team. DeAndre Swift has done nothing but piss me off.
Yeah.
The year he was on the Lions with Jamal Williams, I had them both playing running back for me, and I won a championship in that league where I played both Lions running backs. Since then, I have defended him to anybody that'll listen, and I just can't do it anymore. Yeah, he looks bad out there. They have one of the worst lines in the league. I saw a fun stat the other day. He has a 0% successful run rate, which is insane. So
that's gross.
I know we say we don't like stats, but sometimes we hear them, we can't help but recite them. Successful runs is on first and second down, making it halfway to the first down line, and on third or fourth down, getting over it.
Yep.
Weird stat. Makes sense, though. Never heard it before the other day when somebody was talking about this. Dude has a 0% success chance, which is wild. He just looks bad out there. He's averaging like what, 1.5 yards per carry.
Yeah.
And it's just the team's bad and the line's bad. And honestly, he's not a great running back. You need to get rid of him.
And here's what's scary to me. When you look at it, like not only is the yards per carry horrible, total yards are horrible, his snap percentage is going down 3 weeks in a row.
Every week.
70%, 66%, 53%. And Roshan's going up. They're looking like they're searching.
Did you see the report that came out today that said Roshan is going to get a significant look this week?
He should, man. He should. DeAndre Swift has been absolutely horrible. And I'll give this to the Panthers. Just because you sign a running back to a contract doesn't mean you have to play him.
That's right.
And they're doing that with Miles Sanders. He's been bad, so they're playing the better back, which is Chuba Hubbard. So I think the Bears need to explore this. 6 foot, 225 Roshan Johnson. He was first game last week, and he got 10 points. DeAndre Swift has 19 points on 3 games.
Yep. Roshan was supposed to be the power big back. Dude caught the ball more than DeAndre Swift did.
Yes.
He over doubled, almost tripled his yards per carry.
Yeah.
Like
5 targets, 4 receptions for 32 yards. And then he had 30 yards rushing on 8 attempts, which isn't the best yards per carry, but like they're not seeing good looks right now. Right. And it's still better than it's like double DeAndre Swift's.
Mm-hmm. So all off season, I was seeing like still going on about him. He was the first free agent signed in the off season, and they paid him. I think he's making like $8 million a year or something.
Yeah, he got a good contract.
For running backs these days is solid. So like he got paid for 3 years. He was the first one signed. And so I, along with I'm sure a lot of people, if we can roll back the tape. So for all you that say you didn't say it, I'm sure I can find it. Said no, he's going to be a solid play this year. And it has turned out to be the exact opposite. And it's pissed me off, and I'm over it. I just sold him today.
Yep, so. I'm with you on that. Yeah. He traded. Well, we're not going to get into detail, but yeah, he got rid of Amari Cooper and DeAndre Swift. So, okay, I'm with you. All right, next one for me. You're going to hate it.
Oh God,
you're going to hate it.
All right, let's hear it.
But I really do believe that maybe it's time, and it happens to all players. Nolan, I'm probably selling Mike Evans.
Oh,
I'm probably selling Mike Evans.
Really?
Okay. 23 points week 1, 7 points week 2, 3 points week 3. And Godwin's point totals are going the other way. The running backs are getting more involved, right? Bucky Irving's getting more involved. And I think people might be figuring the offense out some. So I don't know if they're going to be bad, but I also don't think they're going to be as prolific as what they were the first 2 weeks. He hasn't caught a touchdown in 2 weeks. He hasn't he hasn't had more than 3 catches in 2 weeks. You know, he was targeted 3 times last week total. And they got game script tells you that they should have been he was passing. They got slapped by Denver. And Mike Evans, wasn't a big part of that. He's regressed week over week. He's got a knee issue that he's working with. And like I said, whereas he's wide receiver 40 through the first 3 weeks, Godwin is wide receiver 3.
Shit.
Wide receiver 3. So, Mike Evans absolutely had the draft capital that makes that look like an ouch on the surface. Some people are going to call him a hold candidate, and that might be true. I think he's got that name that you can dish around and probably get something to fill your roster out if you need to.
The last 2 weeks he has played excellent defenses, though.
Yeah.
Just saying. So if the defense is key on the top receiver, then of course the second guy is going to be better off.
Hey, bro, he's got to play the Saints twice. Shut
up. Let me cope.
Just saying. He's catching.
I have him drafted
I don't know
so many times.
We talked about it last week. I don't know if you know his history with Marshawn Lattimore. It's not good.
No, it's not. I know it. Oh, God.
Anyways, that's my maybe unpopular one. Like I said, some people are going to tell you that's a hold candidate. That's a marinate. I think I'd probably start evaluating my sell options there.
Yeah, I'd definitely put him in the hold. Well, my next sell option, me and Zach argued about a little bit earlier today, is Quentin Johnston.
Oof, yeah.
Probably one of the worst rookie receivers for a high pick
Yeah.
ever, maybe.
No, Jalen Reagor's worse. But
okay, fine,
but
whatever.
He's like in the conversation.
All right, fine. He had an awful rookie season. He
Yeah.
finally started to look like a receiver this year. And then his quarterback gets hurt again. His line gets hurt again. And I don't know if he can keep it up. I don't know what changed, but I don't know how long it can last. And I just want to get rid of it. Take him while he's hot. He's the wide receiver 18 right now. People are getting high on him again. But if Taylor Heineke's throwing to him and they're missing two of their starting linemen, I'm not super high on it.
Yeah. No,
especially when the next defenses they're playing are excellent defenses. They've got the Chiefs, good defense, by the best defense, obviously.
Naturally.
Denver, good defense. Arizona's all right. And then New Orleans, we just talked about.
Could be tough.
So their schedule is not conducive to it. And also the whole team is fighting injury.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm with you. I've got him. I actually juggled him between having him as a buy or a hold candidate because he's much better so far this year. But you're not wrong. It's mounting up for the Chargers offense as a whole to start being non-streamed. Right. Like what's the opposite of streamed per week?
Man, just don't play him
per week. Yeah, forgotten. It's time for you to sit him.
Let's just bench him. Just bench the whole team.
Yeah, it's not looking good right now. Quarterback out, 2 linemen out. Who are they going to be starting? Isn't it Easton Stick is their backup quarterback?
I think Heineke's probably playing.
Oh, okay. Well, look, okay. There's worse backup quarterbacks than Taylor Heineke. Okay. But yeah, I'm good there. So my last sell candidate, we're going to get to. We'll finish that. We'll do that as the last thing we talk about before we roll. So let's, unless you got something else, I'm ready to move to the holds.
Okay? No, that was my last sell.
Okay, all right. My first hold is like a no duh. Okay, keep baking Christian McCaffrey. Okay, and I'm gonna say it for 2 reasons really. First one is you took a 1-1. You might as well stick with it. Okay. Don't be a coward. Stick with him.
Yep.
He's probably going to play. Although I did see a super funny tweet where he's in Germany, Nolan, and they said
in Germany. Supposedly he'll be there for an extended time working on his injury.
Yeah. But the funnier thing was they said he's getting a Das Boot.
Oh no!
Which is amazing. Okay, that's peak online is what that is.
Oh, that's a fucking good one.
McCaffrey and Das Boot. But if this guy comes back and plays, as Jordan Mason has very well shown us, he's going to put a ton of freaking points out.
Hey man, maybe Jordan Mason's just good. You ever think about that?
Nope, not for 1 second. I didn't. How old is that guy? How old is Jordan Mason? Let me. Dude's 25. How many running backs broke out at 25
years?
Just say, how many running backs go from the 60s or the 80s in points? Like he's got more points now at week 3 than he's ever had as a season total.
Hey man, that's why we talked about keeping top tier handcuffs. This is what we're talking about. We talked about it in the buys.
Anyways, I'm just saying, I'm marinating him. I think he's going to see time. I think they buried the lead on how bad the injury was, but they've not just ruled him out. And I don't know why you wouldn't. If you were going to rule him out and move on for the season. You know what I mean? It's not good for anybody to be wondering if McCaffrey's going to be playing or not. So that leads me to believe he will play, but they want to get him right. They got a lot of money tied up. He's really good. So
yeah, they're probably going to hold him till the end of the year and wean him back in before playoffs. Would be my guess.
So where every other team is sitting dudes down, you might get to plug in Christian McCaffrey and dominate. But you got to survive, though. You got to survive. All right.
My first hold is going to be Jalen Waddle. So,
Dolphins player.
That's right. So nobody on that team is playable right now. Okay. Maybe Tyreek. If they have Skylar Thompson quarterbacking, don't play any of them except A-Chain. If they have they just get Snoop Huntley, maybe, who knows, but he's going to be fresh on that team. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
And then Tim Boyle's their other option. So literally the 3 quarterbacks that could be playing right now are awful. Basically, we're going to hold him and we're going to pray Tua comes back. if ever. But he's a good receiver. He's got 1,000 yards every year. Basically, we're just holding out till they either trade for a good enough quarterback if they think Tua's not coming back, or Tua comes back.
Hey, man, Tyler Huntley might be good enough. Nolan, Pro Bowl quarterback.
Shut up. He got a Pro Bowl averaging, what, like 90 yards throwing a game?
Yep.
Don't talk to me about Pro Bowl Snoop Huntley.
Man, bro. Snoop.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I heard that on a show today where they said Snoop, and then one guy had to cut in and go, you can't find him searching Snoop. It's Tyler Huntley. And I went, that's a good casual fan call out there. Yeah. Okay, last hole for me on this. This sounds like a no-duh, just like CMC was, but I'm going to stick with this one too. CD's going to be okay, guys. CD's going to be okay. We don't know what this Cowboys offense is. We know who CD is. Yeah, CD's going to be fine. Like, it's – I was talking to somebody today, and they were talking about dishing them, and I went, hey, man, don't do that. Don't do that for anything less than a whole bunch of stuff.
Who was trying to dish him? Tell me so I can go get him.
You'll never know.
Tell me I need
for justice. Okay. No chance. So look, CD's going to be awesome. He's not going to repeat as wide receiver 1, but dude, he still has a chance to finish as a top 10 wideout. And like, that's good money, man. CD is one of those guys. It's kind of like when you, like people who took Tyreek this year, you have to play him. Yep. You have to play him because he's just as likely to get a 40-point game as he is to get a 4-point game. Okay. So you got to play him. Don't dish him. It's not, I'm not there yet on a player of that caliber. He's not playing poorly. The offense is playing poorly. Now he did look pissed this weekend. There was a point where he was mad. I mean, he was mad at Dak. I mean, he's like rolling his eyes and cutting side eyes at him, but CD's awesome. You know,
I mean, like Dak had 51 throwing attempts and only 7 of them went to CD.
Be frustrated then? Wouldn't you be mad?
Yes, I would be mad.
Yeah.
Normally it's the game after they get mad, they kind of go off. So if any week you were to play him, do it this one. Also, the Giants defense is not great.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be good, man. I think people are gonna be validated on CeeDee Lamb. Like I say, it's not wide receiver 1 probably. But
he'll be a wide receiver 1. He won't be wide receiver 1, but he'll be a wide receiver 1.
There you go.
No, I'm with you. That's fine. My last one is gonna be maybe slightly controversial. I'm holding Christian Kirk.
Okay. Jaguars.
Jaguars this year have been atrocious. Don't know what's going on with that team. It seems like their offensive philosophy has changed from this year to last year, even though nobody's really changed. So last year they were more of like a control, short yard passes, run it hard. But this year they've been trying to throw it deep a lot more than they were last year. Last year before he got hurt, Christian Kirk was the favorite target. He led the team in targets. He led the team in receptions. So this year they got to just get back to the game plan that they were successful with last year. I'm holding. Hopefully they get their shit together. They can't keep doing what they've been doing because obviously it's not working. So they got to regress back to what they were doing last year.
Oh, yeah. And they've got – it's not – yeah, Christian Kirk's talented. What's happening right now is we talked about it a little bit last week with the Jaguars. It's a coaching thing. And also they paid a lot of money to a quarterback who's clearly seeing ghosts.
He's
did you see his spin move? You have to look it up after this. He did a spin move basically not under pressure.
Really?
And then took 2 steps to the left and then got sacked. I mean, like there was a guy kind of pushing the middle of the pocket, but he just spun. It looked like you were playing on a controller and accidentally hit the O button. Oops. Like it's like he's feeling pressure even if there's not that much pressure there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they need to coach it better. They need to scheme it to where he's protected a little bit better, or just put him in a position to be successful. Because long-haired Daniel Jones is struggling.
That's right. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oof. That hurts.
All right. Yeah. Real quick. We got one sponsor video real quick before we wrap and talk about my controversial potential trade target or sale target. So right back.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to fantasysportsadvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to fantasysportsadvice.com today.
Hey, so again, shout out. That's our sponsor website. That's where this thing gets posted, is the fantasysportsadvice.com. So go out there, check it out, be a part of the community, come troll me and Nolan. We are absolutely on there.
That's right.
If you don't see Nolan posting, you're just not looking, okay?
I'm pretty much everywhere on that site.
Yeah, you're chilling. So, shout out fantasysportsadvice.com. That's, like I said, that's who facilitates us doing this. So we appreciate that. All right, Nolan, before we wrap, I wanted to talk about quickly there was a guy on a podcast today talking about trading Patrick Mahomes. So his point was saying, like, there are some players that face value, or in this case, name value, provides like blinders sometimes on if he's actually like that relevant to you on your fantasy team. And he was going like he was super excited about it. He's so hyped because he was going, you got to do this. You got to trade him, because do you know what you'll be able to get when you put on the other side of the trade offer that you're giving Patrick Mahomes, especially in redraft leagues, maybe not dynasty leagues. He's 29, like whatever. But in redraft leagues, people are going to see Mahomes and be like, oh my God. But he's quarterback 13 right now. And that's like with wide receiver too. He's got the second best wide receiver right now, points wise. But when you go and look at his stats, Nolan, everything's red except for his interception ratio and his yards per carry rushing ratio. He's red in attempts, red in completions, red in yards, red in touchdowns, and then we're not going to talk about his rushing stats. So he's really not actually playing that well, and everybody's healthy. Like, Kelsey's healthy, Rashee Rice is playing.
Kelsey doesn't look healthy.
Yeah, he looks
sluggish.
He looks fatigued.
Yeah.
He's not hurt. He's old. Okay.
He partied too hard over the summer to be as old as he is.
They said he's not into shape. They said, look out for Kelsey. He's gonna play himself into shape later. But the more I was sitting there thinking about it, the more I was like, yeah, there is a big difference between someone who wins football, a la Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady, and people who are really good at fantasy football, like Josh Allen, right? Where you're getting 35, 40-point weeks regularly, and Patrick Mahomes through 3 weeks this year has had 17, 16, and 20. And on the surface, you go 17, 16, 20, that's not bad. It's not that good either. It's just fine. It's just fine for a quarterback that was the third or fourth quarterback taken. So I thought that was really interesting. What do you think about that? What do you think about trading Mahomes?
That's a scary thing to do, because you always feel like he's going to just get it together, you know? So, like,
how much grace do we give?
Man, I don't know. That's a scary thought.
Would you trade Mahomes for your quarterback you'd be getting back is like your Sam Darnold or your Baker or your Derek, and then you're getting wide receiver 1 or running back 1?
Well, Sam Darnold's QB4, so I would probably just take that.
But that's what I mean, right? But he doesn't have the name value, right? So there's gonna be people that you can talk to, or that are gonna be going like, maybe it's not sustainable. Like, what these guys at the front part of the season are sustainable. But do you think your team's better getting rid of the 13th quarterback, bringing back, a mid-tier quarterback, and then somebody who's way better at your running back, wide receiver spots?
You're convincing me. It's just scary because of who it is.
That's the point he was making. He was going, the name is making you evaluate it differently, right? Because what you do when you see a Sam Darnold score that many points is you go like, oh, dude, I wonder if I can sell him high. But you've got Patrick Mahomes who's just doing fine, and you're going like, I can't trade him. Like, isn't that interesting?
It is. So looking back, he is kind of up and down all the fucking time.
He's just okay.
He'll go from 31 to 15 to 23 to 19 to 42 to 5.6.
To be clear,
against Denver,
the best quarterback in football right now.
Yes.
But not the best fantasy football quarterback.
I don't know. He'll make up for those low weeks with a massive week, though. I don't know.
But you're not. But what we've accomplished, Nolan, is it's not a flat out no.
It's not a flat out no.
Yeah.
If it's I don't know if it's Sam Darnold, if it's God, what quarterbacks are hold on. Let me hit the button.
You couldn't get Jaden now, not after that.
No,
okay?
not after last week. You couldn't get Jaden. If you could get like Baker or like Dak or Joe Burrow plus like
CJ Stroud's underneath him right now.
yeah, CJ Stroud's had an awful year.
So far. Jared Goff is underneath him. What about Jared Goff plus? You got Jared Goff and an RB1 or wide receiver 1. Because they are so enamored that they're getting Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, man, I think it's worth looking at. Jordan Love.
I'm at a hold on Patrick Mahomes. We'll put him in the hold column.
But
right
you're not on a buy, Patrick Mahomes.
Patty Mahomes.
That's
right there in the hold column.
He's on my sell column. All right, y'all. That's that's trade week. Okay, that's what we do around here at the Fantasy Lounge. Okay, we hope you're more educated. We're not. You know, I don't think
we're maybe more confused now.
Yeah. I think we muddled the water for each other a little bit. So we thank you for making it this far into the show. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on the fantasysportsadvice.com. They also have an app. You can download it on Android or iPhone. Go check it out. And I guess we'll see you next week at the quarter mark of the season.
That's right.
Our
quarter season check-in.
That's
next
right.
Week.
And don't play injured players. Okay.
Don't play them.
Don't do it. All right. I'm Zach. That's Nolan. We'll see you next week. Peace.